Yalah, risau jugalah. Bagi anak saya, dia bagi tahulah. Dia dapat notis. All the transaction yang dia buat sejak dia umur 20 tahun. Semasa dia jadi student.
Former Prime Minister Dr Mahathir Mohamad's two sons are currently under investigation by the MACC. Why have they attracted this attention? Exactly how wealthy are they? What business controversies were they involved in during their father's administration? Were their business empires genuinely built on merit, or did they secure government contracts due to their father's influence? In another episode of Kini Explainer, let's delve into the emerging wealth of Mahathir's two sons and untangle the controversies surrounding their involvement during their father's tenure. Mahathir and his wife Siti Hasma welcomed their firstborn Marina in 1957, followed by Mirzan, Mokhzani and Mukriz. In 1960, they adopted Melinda and two more children, Mazha and Maizura, in 1983. Mirzan and Mokhzani are both active in the business world, which sparks interest from the MACC. In the 1990s, Asia Week valued Mirzan's holdings in public companies alone at over $880 million. According to Bloomberg and University of Pennsylvania alumni page, Mirzan, who used to work for Solomon Brothers, a leading Wall Street investment bank in the United States, is currently the founder and chief executive officer of Crescent Capital Sendirian Berhad, a Malaysian investment holding and financial advisory firm. He holds directorships in several public and private companies in Southeast Asia, including Petron, the Philippines' largest oil refining and marketing company, and Betamac, a local electronics manufacturer. He was also the former CEO of Consortium Logistics Berhad, KLB. KLB, formerly known as Consortium Perkapalan Berhad, KPB, was Mirzan's first big break in the local business industry upon his return from the US. However, it was also one of the local companies that was hit hard by the 1997 Asian financial crisis. According to KLB's 1999 annual statement, Mirzan managed to increase KLB's turnover from 100 million ringgit in 1995 to 417 million ringgit in 1996, at least quadrupling its turnover in just 1 year. It reached 730 million ringgit at its peak in 1997, attracting attention in both domestic and international markets. Unfortunately, the good times didn't last long. KPB faced significant debt pressure due to its aggressive acquisition of domestic and overseas assets and expansion of its shipping empire. The Asian financial turmoil struck suddenly, exacerbating KPB's debt with more than 400 million ringgit in liabilities. In 2023, Anwar Ibrahim disclosed in his defense in court with Mahathir Mohamad that the then Prime Minister had led the government to rescue several financially troubled companies during the 1997 financial turmoil. This includes Mirzan's KPB. Anwar, who was the finance minister at the time, refused Mahathir's request to allow KPB to draw on the national treasury. Much to Mahathir's displeasure, Mahathir was concerned that Mirzan or himself would be embarrassed if the matter was presented to Parliament for debate. Mahathir then directed Petronas to come to the rescue of the KPB. Despite Anwar's objections, Mahathir went forward with his direction and claimed that Petronas was not under the control of the Ministry of Finance. Theoretically, Mahathir was not wrong, because Petronas is subject to the direction of a sitting Prime Minister per Section 3 of the Petroleum Development Act 1974. In the end, MISC, a subsidiary of Petronas, acquired KPB for $220 million. As Mahathir explained in his autobiography, A Doctor in the House, this was not a bailout, as Petronas not only bought KPB at a very low price, but also sold some of the freighters at a handsome profit when the shipping business recovered. After surviving the financial crisis, Mirzan remained as the executive chairman of KLB until his departure in August 2007. KLB went through mergers, acquisitions, and rebranding over the next decade to become the familiar Post Logistic Berhad. Meanwhile, Dr Mahathir has filed a 150 million ringgit lawsuit against Anwar Ibrahim over claims that the former premier had amassed wealth for personal gain while in power last year. The defamation lawsuit has brought back to light the 214.2 million ringgit contract awarded to Opcom Cable Sdn Bhd, which was founded by Mahathir Mohamad's youngest son, Mukhriz. Anwar claimed that Mahathir's family members were directors of Opcom Cables, including the eldest son, Mirzan, second son, Mokhzani, the third son, Mukhriz, and Mukhriz's wife, Norzita Zakaria, between 1994 and 2021. Anwar claimed that as the Prime Minister and Finance Minister at the material time, Mahathir was in control of the Minister of Finance Incorporated, MOF Incorporated, held the golden share that allowed the government to make key decisions in Telecom Malaysia, which carried out direct negotiations with Opcom for the supply of fibre optics. Not only that, after GE14 in 2018, the media reported that Opcom was awarded a contract worth 11.16 million ringgit by Telekom Malaysia just 5 days after the election. After kicking off the controversy, Telekom Malaysia clarified that it was an open tender and the TM board had agreed to award the project to Opcom along with 18 other companies well before the general election. Later, the Pakatan Harapan government announced the 21.6 billion ringgit National Fiberization and Connectivity Plan, NFCP. At the time, it was believed that Opcom, which was linked to then Prime Minister Dr Mahathir, would be the biggest beneficiary of the NFCP. According to The Star, Opcom's stock surged 135% in just 2 months, although rumors circulated that Opcom had monopolized the NFCP. Then Multimedia Minister Gobind Singh explained in Parliament that the company, which was helmed by Mokhzani, did not apply for the relevant license, so Opcom could not obtain the NFCP bid. It's noteworthy that Mahathir's second son, Mokhzani, has been listed among Malaysia's wealthiest by Forbes several times since 2007. Forbes highlighted Mokhzani's 2013 ranking as 9th on Malaysia's 50 richest individuals list, with a wealth of over 4.22 billion ringgit amassed from the oil and gas industry. In 2020, Mahathir denied his children's involvement in local business during his premiership and rejected claims that they secured government contracts. However, former Prime Minister Najib rebutted such statements, citing examples where Mokhzani's Kanchana Petroleum Berhad received a major offshore structure license from Petronas in 2002 during Mahathir's tenure. Mokhzani refuted Najib's claims, emphasizing that Sapura Kanchana Petroleum was established in 2012 and Mahathir has stepped down as Prime Minister. Nonetheless, evidence from Kanchana's 2011 annual statement confirms that Kanchana Petroleum Berhad, before its merger and renaming, did indeed secure a Petronas contract in 2002 as claimed by Najib. Mahathir Mohamad, the longest-serving Prime Minister in Malaysian history, has faced criticism over the years for his association with cronyism and nepotism. However, Mahathir once remarked that such practices were not a concern when he first assumed office. In an interview with Asia Week, Mahathir rhetorically stated that there is no single businessman who is not close to his government. He also said that he made it a public policy that the government was Malaysia Incorporated and worked closely with the private sector. And so when the private sector makes money, 20% of it belongs to the government. Mahathir argued that the government must assist the private sector, particularly those owned by the Bumiputras, as it aims to correct economic imbalances. Can correcting economic imbalances with cronyism be justified? Do you believe in Mahathir's views? Are the business activities of Mirzan and Mokhzani truly questionable? And did Mahathir exploit his power to benefit his family? The only way to provide a clear explanation is to await the findings of the MACC's investigation to uncover the truth. Please consider donating to support Kinitv and subscribe to Malaysia Kini to help us bring you important stories and continue producing high-quality content.